Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's get started with a very clear understanding on it. Hope there are few people who are already there yesterday, and today there are new people joined. Yeah. So let me explain a couple of things. It could be repeated for few people, but I just want to tell them before we start with anything. So myself, Nikhil, I possess 12 years of experience in IT. I've worked as in multiple roles. Currently, I work as a test manager in one of the predominant renowned MNC. And my teaching experience is near to 10 years, and out of which 5+ years I have been teaching in DURGASOFT. So, and this is the course I have been teaching for more than 5 years, and I am the only faculty in DURGASOFT who has been teaching this Selenium and Python. And not just in DURGASOFT, and my one of the few faculties in the market who teaches Selenium and Python. So I'm one of them, and I've been training from quite 5 more years. I mean to say from 5 years I've been teaching it. Okay, so there is no point you guys has to something new or new course for me. It is something that has been there from very long time. Okay, now we would try to understand a couple of things. 1 minute. Hello. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So now we would try to understand about testing, the entire concept of testing. Okay. Kind of demo. We will start with testing and how in real time how this process will work. Okay. So how many people have real time experience here who has already been working either in manual or automation? Who has real time experience here? Can you please speak out or can you please message so that I'll understand? Real time experience means you're working in a company wherein traditional process of agile methodology. You get your story cards, you analyze them, you create manual test cases, and you automate them. Okay, and you give sign off, and then got it right. This is a typical traditional process of agile. So how many people have that exposure in it?
Yeah, I have.
Nice lipsync. Anyone else?
I have 3 years. I have 3 years of Python. I worked on 3 years on Python, but I'm not new to automation.
Oh, nice, nice, power. Yeah. Anyone else who has this kind of experience? This is a very basic. Okay, since there are a lot of different standards of people over here in terms of automation, so we would try to understand more detailed about the process. Since it is a demo, so we will not consider it as a original class kind of thing. So there are so many people in this batch, so I want to explain it from the scratch, everything from the scratch, so that it would be more easy for everyone to understand. So I will be more practical. Okay, the difference between my videos, or you can find hundreds of videos in YouTube. The difference between me and others are I'll be trying to be more practical. We will be doing a live coding every day as we progress. There is no point of predefined code I had and I just explain you. We will be doing live coding. Sometimes for time saying, I can give you coding and I can explain you everything what is there in that. Okay, so it's more about coding.
Uh,
There's automation testing.
yeah, Nikhil, I have one question actually. I gone through your video from on YouTube, but there is no comment I got. But
There's no.
there is no comment. I'm not able to find any kind of comment on under this video.
Oh, okay. Maybe they would have disabled that video. That's actually been organized by DurgaSoft. I'm not having any take in that. Okay, you can find my previous workshop videos. There are
Yeah.
videos which are more than 10K views or 20K views. There are so many videos. Okay,
Yeah, I
you
gone
try to
through.
find that videos and see that.
Yeah, I gone through that videos also, but not getting that comment. So that's why I'm asking.
No, comment. I didn't understand. Like, you want, you're not getting comments, or you're
Ah,
not able to see the comments.
yes, exactly.
Then that means
There may be hide
DurgaSoft team would
or
have disabled it.
yeah,
Hmm.
other yes, that
Yeah,
that's
they
the
may
case
hide.
maybe.
They would have hide the comments, whatever has come, or whatever it is. I'm not aware of it. Uh, that's not been organized or nothing to take off mine. Okay, in that.
Okay,
Got it right.
fine.
So
Yeah.
because I don't manage all these things. Fine.
Okay, fine.
So
Thank
let's
you.
not waste anyone's time, and then we will quickly start with our understanding. So first step, as I told you multiple. So I'll try to teach you today traditional agile methodology, how in company uh, the process happens. Okay, who are the different stakeholders of a project? Okay, how it generally runs. What is the role of a tester? Okay, what are the different testing process that you have to be involved as a tester? Okay, so we will start with that, and slowly we will progress into our syllabus. Okay, so I would request to everyone here, please stay till the end, especially the new people who are not aware of the syllabus. So we are going to tell the syllabus. Okay, I'm going to tell the syllabus at end of the class, so you will understand the standard and the level that we are going to cover in this particular course. Right. Let me start with the very basic process of SDLC. Everyone knows it, okay? And I would try to tell you more in detailed way. So since it is a demo for you to understand. So SDLC means software development lifecycle, as you know. So what is that SDLC and what is the use of this SDLC in companies? Because SDLC is a process that is inherited in every company, and every company, in order to release their product in market, they have to follow a process or a protocol in order to maintain their system. That means their company, okay, in a very productive way. So that's the main important thing for any company to have. So they have to go through a process, okay, a life cycle process, because they cannot design their own process, right? They have to get the market process, and they can customize it according to their company needs. So the market standard of life cycle is software development life cycle. So in software development life cycle, what happens generally is, okay, requirements, okay, analysis, okay, then design, coding, testing, production. Okay, so these are the different process of okay. So what is this requirements? I'll try to explain you in a more clear way, in real time understanding. For a understanding, let's see that we are working for a service based company. There are two types of companies, as you know, service based and product based companies. Service based companies work for a product based company. So service based companies work for a customer who has their product, which can be uh, used across either within their customer limit or across many users. For example, I am working for, think that I am working for a service based company, maybe Wipro, TCS. So in that company, what I will do is I will work for some customer. Okay, the customer can be any big bank in America or any big insurance company or any big healthcare or telecom company. For example, I am working for a insurance company called State Auto. Okay, so State Auto is one of the insurance company, which is a very big product based company. You can say that's a product company. So that company, what it is doing, for example, I'm working for TCS, which is a service-based company, and from this company, I'm working for a client called State Auto. Just understand, okay? So this company state auto. So what you're supposed to do is your marketing people, okay, your company. So how the process starts, I'll try to tell you. TCS people, TCS company, the business people, you say business people, okay, will reach to state auto. So this business people means who are responsible to understand the business, or you can say management consultants. So they would reach to state auto to understand what is their requirement. So now state auto.
Screen share is stopped, I think.
My God. Yes, actually, this meeting is handled by the DURGASOFT team. So I don't know what is that. Now you're able to see.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So a management consultant from a company, service-based company, reaches the state auto company. Think that some company like JP Morgan, for easy understanding. Okay, JP Morgan is one of the famous. JP Morgan Chase is one of the very big bank in America. So this company will tell their business, okay, they'll say that I want to develop an application, or I want you guys to develop an application. That application should look like this. Okay, that application should have these requirements. Like you need to have debit requirement, credit requirement, mutual funds, okay, business. Okay, I have multiple portfolios in that. So they will give you some requirements. Okay, to TCS. This management consultants will come with that requirements again back to TCS, and now they will explain that requirements to the architects, okay, in that company. Okay, so they would come and explain to the architects. So management consultants will come and explain to the architects. So this architect is responsible to, okay, is responsible to design or do the analysis, and they should come up with the process. Okay, they should say that, okay, you has given some requirements to me, and that's fair. Okay, out of 10 requirements, okay, I can only do 8 or 9 requirements, or I can do this in a different way, or this is possible, this is not possible. Okay, that's called analysis phase. So first requirement phase, TCS people going to JP Morgan, getting the requirements, and that requirements is given to TCS architects, and architects will do the analysis of that application or analysis of that design. I could say the requirements, and they would say that, okay, whatever we can do, whatever we cannot do, they will give a commitment. Okay, that's the second phase. After that, design phase will come. Now your architect has finalized. This is the design. This is the analysis we have done. Out of 10 requirements, I can do 8, 2 I cannot do, or I can do 2 after some time. Some kind of commitment they would give. Okay. Then design phase will start. So now there is a design of high level design, okay, HLD and low level design. So HLD and low level design diagrams or LLD diagrams will be prepared. So that where should be your server, what is the data flow, what is your functional flow, what is your application flow. So where the flow has to happen, from where the data has to be, which database you're using. Okay, all this design will be done by the your design team, majorly a part of architects, or you can say someone who is on a high level consultants who are able to understand and then decode that design. Now the design is completed. Once the design is completed, okay, then it will be given to coding. Okay, so then the coding will start. Okay, so the coding will start in such a way. Now we understand, we know that what are requirements, we have done the analysis, we have designed it. So according to the design, developers will develop the code. They have to develop the code. They have to design, they have to develop pages, they have to design the components of the pages, they have to design front end, back end components, they have to integrate together. All these things will be done together in the coding phase. Okay, after that the other phase called testing will come. Okay, got it right? So analysis, requirements. So now the phase of testers comes into picture. Okay. Now the phases of testers comes into picture. So testers are supposed to do testing. So they have to do majorly who can do testing. Testing can be done by, there are multiple phases of testing. Very important. Okay? This is a very basic fundamentals. Since it is a demo class, I am teaching you, and you need to understand the core things. Okay? These are very basics, and no one will explain you all these things going further, because these are very fundamentals. So testing, what are the different levels of testing? So you have first unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and UAT testing. These are the 4 different levels of testing. So in that, unit testing and integration testing has to be done by the developers. Okay. So out of 4 levels of testing, unit testing has to be done by developers. Integration testing has to be done by developers. The system testing, which is nothing but entire application testing, end-to-end testing, say end-to-end system testing. Say. So that has to be done by testers, and UAT has to be done by testers. Okay, these are the 2 very important things you need to understand. Again, that depends from company to company. So you think that you are a small company and you don't have multiple developers, so you are supposed to do everything. Okay, they may ask you to do integration, unit, system testing, UAT testing. That depends again project. You have some client people who do UAT testing, or some companies may expect you to do UAT testing. Okay, that again depends from project to project, company to company you work. Okay, but the ideal process is from unit testing and integration. What is in unit testing? Unit testing means, so as I develop some unit of an application, for example, I develop a function. That function has some functionality to be implemented. For example, if I click on a button, that button has to navigate to some page, and that page should have some components in it. Okay, so that's what my functionality. So I will, if I test that particular unit which I developed, that's called unit testing. It's a basic called function testing. You are testing each and every individual function that you create. Integration testing. For example, I create a module called A, and I have created a module called B. And if there is any dependency between A and B, for example, if I enter some details and click on submit, that details should reflect in B module. Okay, in A module, I entered some details and I submit the details. In B module, that will be there. Okay, so if that kind of integration is there between modules and you're going to test it, that's called integration testing. Okay, so that also basically is supposed to be done by the developers, because that's a basic testing they have to do in order to hand over to the testers. So I told you, as depends from project to project, it varies who has to do it. Okay, and then system testing. System testing and UAT testing is a pure tester's job. Okay, so we as a testers are concerned only in this department. Okay? Production deployment. I could say deployment or okay, or production, whatever you say. So this should be done by DevOps engineers. They will deploy okay this code into the production environment so that the users can use it. Okay, now you understood, everyone. Now you understood. So now this people application, the application of JP Morgan Chase is being done by TCS people in this model. So these are all the stakeholders of this project. Hope everyone is clear now. Do you understood? You understood, right? How it happens, like how the process happens, from management consultants to architects to the in design, a lot of people comes into picture. DB design engineers, okay, back-end engineers, all these people will come into this phase. Okay, developers also, I said you back-end, front-end. Okay, front-end developers, back-end developer, DB engineers, all these people will come into. So in the design, majorly DB engineers will be there. Okay, because database design has to be done. Got it, right? So this is a process. Hope everyone is clear about how it happens in a company. So now coming to, by understanding, you understood this many people are involved in a project, in a single project, for application to reach into production, to go to market and the users to use that application. So we need developers, we need management people, that means business analyst. Okay, we need design engineers, we need testers, we need DevOps engineers, we need developers. All these people has to involve in a project to build. So SDLC has so many different types. Okay? There are so many models which are using SDLC. Okay? Waterfall model, spiral model, V model, VV model, okay, agile model. So there are so many different implementations or different types of using SDLC. So waterfall model is something that is absolute. That means it is not being used in market nowadays. Very few companies, the old perceptions of taking it, the companies are using. So in waterfall model, I don't want to tell you very deep, but on a high level, I can tell you. It's a phase by phase test. So you have to first develop it, then you have to get the requirements, then you have to change the analysis, then you have to do design, then test, develop, then test. So each phase has to be done one after other. It's not like a continuous phase. Okay, you cannot do it parallelly, or the other person who is depending on a, for example, I cannot test until an application is developed, right? So what testers has to do that time? For example, there is a change happen after the my entire development is completed. Tomorrow my client comes and asks me, boss, I ask you to develop something and you changed something, you have developed something. This is not my requirement. By the time your development is entirely completed, or they may come in the middle of your testing phase and they'll say that, boss, what are you testing? I asked you to test this many components. Why are you testing this? By the time your test plan is ready, your test cases are ready, and you have almost completed your test. So this is a failure model. Why? Because you have to complete a phase to start other phase. Your client comes and asks you a new requirements or change in requirements, any change request that comes in application, because the client is not fixed, right? He finds something new today and tomorrow he finds something new. He comes and asks you to implement that. You have to change it according to, otherwise the project will go to some other company, right? Because companies are ready to do. So now that model is not been used in market, or that model is a failure model, because other people has to depend on other phases before it. And if there is any change request, then it will change the entire process. Okay, so that will work only for migration projects where the requirements are fixed. So very few projects in the market which works. Okay, so coming to spiral model, it's again a process of it. V model, you have parallel testing runs. Okay, so majorly these are not been focused. So important thing that is being focused is agile model. Okay, process called agile methodology. So which I'm going to tell you. Agile is something that is been used by entire companies. I think every company in the market now is using Agile mostly. So what is Agile? So do anyone knows what is Agile? There are some uh, technical terms in Agile like Scrum, Story Point, okay, Story Point, Story Card, okay, Burn Down, Burn Up, okay, Velocity. There are some technical terms. Okay? That means which are actually used. So I would try to explain you. Mostly who are working, they would understand it, but who are very new, who are not aware of it, they would try to get it. Okay. So what is agile methodology? Agile methodology is a process, okay, that is being basically or majorly used for intermediate change requests. For example, that's what I'm trying to say. If there is any change request means if there is any change in the requirement that comes in middle of your development or middle of your testing or middle of your any process, okay, everyone in the project has to be aligned to it. Okay, so everyone should know what is the change. Everyone should adopt that change. Everyone should understand and they should try to build that change in the application. So everyone has to work as a team. Okay, whatever the people I mentioned above has to work as a single team in a project, and everyone should sync up together, should know what is the changes that is happening in the project, should be contacting to developers every day. Tester should contact to developers every day, or entire team should contact to the product owner, or who is the one who is giving you project, to understand what are the changes that are coming. So to keep all these things in one place, so what happens in agile methodology? Agile methodology is a process which is basically keeping everyone together, okay, on a daily scrum meeting or a daily stand-up meeting to understand what they have done today and what is their action item for tomorrow, or what they have done yesterday and what is their action item for today. Okay, and if there is any change request, they should be trying to implement it, because everyone will work as a team together. So in agile process, what happens, there are different people like product owner. Okay. There is someone called Scrum Master. Okay. There is someone called, there will be developers. There will be business analyst. You can say business analyst. Okay. There will be um, testers. Okay. There will be DevOps. All these people will work together in team. Okay, they will join every day, they'll work as a team together. Okay, so think that I'll explain this, I'll try to compare this to with the TCS and JP Morgan. So now JP Morgan, so I told this SDLC life cycle, so you are very clear about it. Now we will try to implement that in agile method. Think that there is a project coming for TCS for a client called JP Morgan. So now the client has a product owner. Okay, so product owner is someone who is responsible for that product. Product means an application that is going to be launched, okay, that is going to be developed. So the product owner who is entirely aware of what to be done, what are the changes, what are the requirements, where to implement, what to implement, how to implement, everything will be known to that guy. Okay, whoever it is, male or female. So he is responsible for that product. So think that he is from JPMC, JP Morgan. So Scrum Master from your team, from TCS. Okay, developers from TCS, business analysts from TCS, testers from TCS, developers from TCS, DevOps engineers from TCS. So I'll try to explain you how it runs, okay, with some technical terms, which you will understand as we progress. Okay, so now what happens? Product owner will give their requirements to the business analyst. Okay, so I will try to tell you. There is something called product backlog. Product backlog means some item which is not in current stage. Okay, backlog item means which are either being basically in a terms of understanding, backlog means it is not current. Okay, it's a backlog. You have something left. Okay, you left something, and that is called backlog. So what happens initially, this product owner will give requirements. They'll say that, okay, you designed this UI page. In this UI page, I need all these fields. All these fields should be of this type. For example, I need a login page. In login page, I need username, which is a text box. I need password, which is a text box. I need submit button. So whenever user clicks on submit button, it should open a page. In that page, okay, I should have home page. Okay, that's a home page. In that home page, for example, your for e-commerce application, okay, or you say JPMC, you have banking, right? So you should have details of that particular account, details of that particular employee. Okay, that employee name, his email IDs, password, sorry, his date of birth, all the details of that employee should come, and he should be having multiple options of either withdrawing or depositing amount, okay, or check his balance. So this should be my UI. For example, I'm just giving you things. So the product owner will explain to whom? Product owner will explain to business analyst. We say BA. Now BA will try to, so each BA, suppose think that you have two BAs in your project. So the two BAs will take some stories. Okay, they will take 10 stories. You say stories. Stories are nothing but requirements. Okay, so technical terms you need to understand. Stories or story cards. Okay, requirements. So this is called as requirements in technical terms. Okay, story cards you say. Story or story cards. These are the requirements. Okay, so in technical terms it is called as story cards. So product owner will explain the requirements to BA and BA will create the story cards. He will create the story cards. Okay, so he will create the story cards. Now what happens? BA will explain the story cards. BA will create the story cards. Okay, please understand how it runs in companies. This is very important. BA will create the story card. That means he will create the requirements. He will write some description. He'll explain everything with diagrams if required. So now what happens? The story cards will be assigned to stories will be assigned to developers. So there is something called sprint planning meeting. First sprint grooming meeting is there. In that grooming meeting, business analyst will explain everything. What is the story? What has to be developed? What is this story? That means story means what is this requirement? What you have to do? What is this requirement? What you have to develop? All these things in that sprint grooming meeting. Sprint is nothing but one of the time frame. Okay, sprint is nothing but time frame. Please understand. I am giving you more time frame. So in a company, in every project, you will have time frame of 2 weeks sometimes. Some sprints will be 3 weeks. Majorly 1 week also you will have some sprint. These three are things. Some companies will use 2 week sprint, 3 week sprint, and 1 week sprint. So within these 3 weeks, so what is meant by sprint? Sprint is nothing but time frame. So within this time frame, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 week, you are supposed to complete development, you are supposed to complete testing, you are supposed to deploy the changes. So all these things should be completed in that time frame. I hope you understood, right? This is the requirement in agile process. Got it, right? So you are supposed to complete that in time frame. So stories is assigned to developers. So what developers will do? What developers will do? Developers develop the stories. Developers will develop the stories, and they will. Then the testers will take the stories. They will test the stories. Okay. Now what happens? Developers has developed the stories. Testers have to take the stories. What developers are doing, they have to test it. Here, manual testers and automation testers come into picture. 90% in sprint. In sprint means in that sprint, stories are done by manual testers. Some companies will ask you to do for automation testing also, but automation testing should be mostly as per market standards. It should be n-1 sprint because you cannot test as fast as manual testers. Automation testing is majorly for two purposes. One is to find to find bugs on a regression mode, or you find regression bugs. Second is to create regression suite. So that is the main purpose of automation testing. Or suppose you have 500 test cases, okay, and there is some change in 510th test case, okay. I will, as a manual tester, I can only test that 510th test case. Okay, and suppose you have 500 test cases and you have some 10 test cases newly added. Okay, so if the 10 test cases are newly added, you can only test the 10 test cases as a manual tester. Okay, got it, right? Because by adding the 10 test cases, you may not know that 500 test cases may be working fine or they may be disturbed. For example, you did some change in some part, other part is working fine or not. How do you know? You don't know, okay, until you test all the other parts of application or all the other test cases. So that manual tester cannot have time to test it. Manual testers will take a lot of time to test it. Manual testers may not test it accurately, as of human errors obviously comes in picture. Manual testers cannot be responsible for uh, regression test cases which are for a very big regression suite. Okay, so that is the reason automation team came into picture. So automation team comes and create the regression suite. They will maintain the regression suite. They will early test that application like smoke or sanity to check if there are any early bugs of that application, like your build is correct or not. Okay, if there are major functionalities are working properly or not, if there are any changes implemented, if that is working fine or not. All these things are being taken care by automation. So automation testing is for a different purpose. That's very important and you should be knowing it. Okay, automation testing is not similar like gen manual testing. Automation testing came only to make sure that you are going to test the backlog items. Current items will be also tested, but that should be n-1. Hope you understood, right? Then the DevOps engineers will deploy the application. Okay, so what happens? This is the process. The same thing I explained you. So business analyst will explain. So what happens is there is something called Scrum call, or you can say Scrum call or stand-up call. Okay, so stand-up call happens every day in a company. So everyone in the stand-up call will join, and they would give us an update. They'll give us update. Okay, what they have worked yesterday and what is they working on today. So everyone comes into a single call. That call is called as stand-up call or Scrum call. That's again a agile methodology's technical term. Okay, that call is very important because you cannot complete everything at time and you can directly give an update. So every day you should have someone monitoring your work. That should be done by your scrum master. Scrum master is responsible to conduct the scrum meeting or stand-up meeting, and he is responsible to assign the tickets or stories to the, I'll also write tickets here. Okay, those, to the developers and testers, and make sure that work is completed within that sprint timeline. Okay, so the scrum master is responsible for it. Developers, so today for example I'm in a scrum call, so I'll join, I'll explain, good morning everyone, I have completed my test case or I have completed my stories. Okay, 3 stories are assigned to me, I have completed 2 stories and currently I'm working on other story. So I could able to complete all the test cases under that story, because in the story you may have 10 test cases or 20. Okay, so I'm blocked for this test case because there is a bug I have raised and I have assigned to developer. So now developer will pick that bug and he will work on it, he will fix it, then again I will retest it, then I'll close it. Okay, so you have to, as a tester you are supposed to give some update there. So developer will also say that, hi everyone, I have assigned with 5 tickets or 5 stories. I have completed development of 3 stories. So currently I'm trying to use this framework. In this framework, I'm able to use these components. So I'm blocked here or I'm able to resolve it. So everything that should be discussed in that call so that everyone is aware of what is the changes. So what is the benefit of it and other things? The benefit of it is a product owner also joins the calls, or your business analyst also joins the calls. So he will say that, boss, okay, you are developing something, so I need some other change to be done. Okay, so immediately what happens? Developers cannot say no. So he will say either he can develop it now, or he will say that okay, I'll take it in the next sprint. So he will not delay it for a long time. So that's a benefit of it, because everyone as a stakeholder, everyone is called a stakeholder of this. All the stakeholders will come into a common call. They will understand the requirements. If there is any change in the requirement, they will adapt it. they will try to implement it, and they will try to help that customer to make sure that the application is success. Okay, for example, I have a 10 months, okay, 10 months plan of completing my application. So this 10 months will be taken into sprints. Suppose 3 week sprint, that means 1 month each. So I will have sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. Okay, sprint 2, sprint 3. Okay, sprint 2, sprint 3, like this. I will have sprint 10 sprints. Okay, got it right? I'll have 10 sprints. So in each sprint, what happens? They will take 10 developments, 10 tickets. They will test 10 tickets. They'll deploy 10 tickets. So if you have 100 requirements, for example, okay, these requirements are created by business analysts. The requirements are given by product owner. Okay, these requirements are managed by Scrum Master. These requirements are developed by developers, tested by testers, deployed by DevOps engineers. I hope you are clear, right? You understood the process, everyone? So you are supposed to work on this process. Clear, everyone? Understood? This
Yeah.
is the process of every company that runs. There may be minute changes in each and everything. Okay. There may be minute changes in each and everything. 1 minute. Okay. So this is the process that actually been done in every company. Okay. So you as a tester, you have to do manual testing and automation testing together. So you are a contributor to a project. So the project has so many stakeholders. Understood, right? So now, so testing. So we understood the process of how exactly entire project runs. Okay. So now we should understand what is there in test. As a tester, what is your responsibility and what are all action items you're supposed to perform. So for that, there is something called STLC. What is that? STLC, which is a very standard understanding of software testing lifecycle. Okay, because software development lifecycle is for the entire project. Okay, software testing lifecycle is for especially for testing. So in a testing phase or in a testing domain, what you are supposed to do as a tester? What are the different phases of STLC? Because I cannot say that, okay, give me requirements, I'll test and I'll give you. No, that's not the process. An organization has gave some standards. It has provided some standards, and you're supposed to follow the standards and meet the standards. Okay, so that standards are nothing but STLC. Okay, so in STLC, the first thing is like test planning. Okay, test planning. Then, so you're supposed to do some test planning. So that depends. I'll give you some this thing. Test planning, test environment setup, okay, test design, test execution, test reporting, and then test closure. So this is called STLC, and this in this there are multiple phases. Okay, test planning. So what is test planning? So in this test planning, generally it is done by your project manager or your test manager. Okay. So you should have a plan before you test. So you should know what is your test deliverables. Okay. You should know what is your scope. You should know what is your test cases that you are going to test. Okay. I mean to say not the exact test cases, but high level of test cases. You should know what is your entry criteria, what is your exit criteria. You should know who are all testing that particular application. What is the scope of testing? What are exceptions? What are limitations? Okay, what is in scope? What is out of scope? All these things to be known, because I have to plan something right before I test. For example, I am only testing UI application, so API testing is not in my scope. So first thing, I should give an introduction of that application. What is this application about? What is this application all speaking about? Okay, whether it is in limits of testing or not. If it is in limits of testing, what is my scope of testing? So my scope of testing is UI testing or API testing, or is there any scope of performance testing, scope of DB testing, scope of any other types of security or any other non-functional testing involvement? So I should define my scope here. So now I define my scope, then I should give my test estimation. Okay, boss, I have given a scope of it. Okay, so I'm writing everything, boss, here. Okay, so I should give introduction. So I'm defining my scope. Scope means what are all there in my limits, what I can do, what is the scope of it. So what is my test estimation? So I have 10 days time, or I have, sorry, but 10 months time. So what are I can achieve in this 10 months? From when to when I can able to high level estimation I should provide, because I should share it to my customer, that customer should accept my timelines. Okay, and then I should also say the test. Okay, estimates are given. Entry criteria. So I should say that when should I start testing? I cannot say that okay, you give me application, I'll test. So I should have my manual test cases ready. So as an automation test, I'm saying. Or for example, unit testing should results has to be attached for starting my testing. Neither it be automation or manual testing. Or basic testing has to be done and the testing results should be shared. Exit criteria should be given. Okay, boss, I can say that 100% I cannot achieve it. Maybe 99% or 98% if I pass, or all my test cases of this particular area passes, I'll guarantee that okay, application is free of bugs and application is more stable. Okay, so I should give that criteria. I should say tested deliverables. Testing team, who are all testing are there as a part of testing team. Okay, what are limitations, what I can do, what I cannot do. Okay, and test results also I should be sorry, test artigraphs. Okay, I should be able to, what are all I'm going to capture from that. I'm going to capture my pass percentage, how many passed, how many failed, bug ID, all this data I should give. So you understood, right? You understood, right? This should be a clear understanding before you start something, because you cannot start it as if like that. You should be having a clear understanding of what is your introduction, what is your application all about, what is your scope of testing, what you are going to test in that, what is your estimation, how many days you can able to complete, from where you will start it. Okay, after my unit testing is done, I will start it. When you will exit it, if I complete this many test cases or this much percentage, I'll close my testing. What are your test deliverables? Okay, or what are you going to test it? Okay, in that your test cases, your test scenarios, your high level understandings, everything will come. Okay, what is your team, how much team you have, what are the number of team members you have, what are your limitations, what you cannot test, what you can test. Okay, what are your artifacts? So after you have done testing, what you can capture, what you cannot capture. Okay, what are the details you will capture, like how many test cases, how many passed, how many failed, why they have failed, what is the bug, what is the bug ID, what is the comment of it, everything you should capture. So this is called test planning, and this is done by your manager. Okay. Then setup. Setup is like, so suppose you have started testing, you cannot test it, right? You need to have that particular URL ready, or you need to have some device. If you're testing any device, okay, you need to have the device ready. If you're testing any operating system build, you're testing on particular build, that build has to be ready. Okay, all these things should be ready. You're testing on API environment, that API environment URL should be there. You need to have that build which you are testing. Build means that particular version of it which you are testing. If you're doing any device testing, you need to have the devices available. So that environment you are making ready before you start testing. Okay, that's very, very important. So now I have a plan ready, I have my setup ready. Now I will start testing. In test design, you will design the test cases. Okay, you will write your test scenarios. You will write, there is a template. Okay, generally in companies, you will have your test cases, your test ID, test steps, test scenarios, prerequisites, your expected result, your actual result, your test pass fail, your bug ID, all these things. There is a format that again company depends from company to company. Generally, test cases are written in an Excel sheet. Okay, so there is some template for it. So you maintain your test case. After you design, here comes the execution. So here comes your automation testing in picture. So your automation testing is not involved anywhere in this. Automation testing comes into picture in the execution part. In the execution, then you have to design, okay, I have my test cases ready. I have identified which I can automate. Now I will start testing with, I'll automate with. So you can do manual execution. Manual execution is right according to your steps. You go to that application and do that activities accordingly through manual, to test. Okay, manually you test. Or you can do under automation. You can write code with Selenium or Java, Python, or any other testing tool or any other automation tool, and then you test it. Okay. Then after testing is done, you need to do reporting, right? You need to say, you need to send reports to your client. Say that, boss, today I have tested, I have done 50 test cases, out of 50, 10 passed, or out of 50, 40 passed, 10 failed, okay, or 8 failed, 2 are blockers. These are all the IDs, defect IDs we created. We have assigned to developers. I need to send a format in a weekly status report, monthly status report, daily status report, uh, glide path, and all I have to send to my customer, saying that, boss, this is the process, or this is my report. Then closure. After all your test cases are completed, you give a sign off, QA sign off. Okay, you say QA sign off. You say that, okay, I have done with my testing, so I'm sending a mail, or I'm going to provide a QA notes to everyone that this many stories are there, like production boards. You say product notes. You will mention how many stories you tested, what you tested, whether they have closed or not. Okay, whether they have failed, whatever it is, you have to just mention all the details and give a sign off to your team that, okay, all my test cases are done. So this is the entire process of testing. Okay, hope you are clear, right, everyone? So right from SDLC to agile methodology to testing. Okay, so testing can be done in this way. Hope everyone is clear now. Any doubts, anyone? So we will try to continue it future, but hope everyone is more clear about this understanding. Okay. Okay. Now, people who has not joined my class yesterday will be able to. Okay, I will be able to. So syllabus of my class. People who already know my syllabus, they can drop. Okay. I will try to explain in a simple way like this. Every detail very clearly. Don't worry about coding. How tough, how much tough it may be. I would explain you in a simple terms, very easily understandable terms. You don't need to worry. You can go and check hundreds of my videos in YouTube. Every concept I'll explain you very neat and detailed way. Okay, and my syllabus is extremely standard syllabus. You can compare it with any syllabus in the market. I can give you that guarantee. And we are covering entire testing, full stack testing in that part. Okay? So let me explain my syllabus. So whoever don't want to listen my syllabus again and again and who are aware of my syllabus, they can drop. And I would request you to do your registrations immediately so that I can start the original class. Okay. So because now this demos and all, I don't consider them as a class. However, I'll explain you entirely with the real-time Jira in the tool. I'll explain all these things. Okay. So, but here this is for demo purpose, just to make you understand like what is my way of teaching and whether you are able to understand my way of teaching. Whether you can also watch my videos, I said, and currently you are also watching my videos. I would explain you every syllabus, okay, in a very detailed and neat way, like the way I'm teaching you now. Okay, so now let's start with the syllabus. Okay, others can drop off if you don't want to listen the syllabus again
Sir,
and again. And this is
this
the
demo
syllabus.
video where it is available?
So this demo videos will be available in YouTube. Okay,
Okay.
you can go and type. You can ask the DurgaSoft team, or you can go and check these videos in YouTube. Like you can type Selenium with Python by Nikhil Raju sir. Okay, DurgaSoft. You
Okay.
can find all my videos, or you can ask DurgaSoft team to share my previous videos or share my current videos. Okay, so that you can go. Okay, so I am actually not concerned about it. To be very frank, concern means I don't have any access of it. Okay. Okay. Now syllabus comes to syllabus. I will not waste anyone's time much. Simple way, in 5 minutes I'll complete everything. First, we will start with Python. We will complete all the Python syllabus, like Python program. You don't need to learn anything to come here. You can come with a fresh mind, even though if you don't know any coding or anything, because I'm going to teach you from the scratch. So Python programming we will see first. Okay, 1 minute. Python programming we are going to see first. Then you will get 170 videos of Durga sir, which are actually costing 8,000 rupees if you buy in DurgaSoft website. For us, it is free of cost if you enroll my course. Okay, so this will give you an entire understanding of Python along with my course. Okay, so this is the first thing that we see. We'll see entire Python. After Python, we will see Selenium. Okay, so Selenium means we will try to see entire Selenium concepts. Selenium is all about, it's a testing tool. Okay, basically used. So yesterday, I mean, last class I have explained you Selenium in a detailed way, on a high level basis. So you can watch my videos, or tomorrow again as a demo part, I would try to explain, no issues. Okay, but Selenium concepts is basically we are going to see entire Selenium, how to automate a website. Any web application can be automated using Selenium. So we will see each and every component that is available in UI and how to automate them. So by the end of this section, second section, I will give you guarantee everyone can able to complete or can able to automate application automation. Okay, this section. First section is Python. You will have an idea of coding. Then second section Selenium. You will know how to automate. So coming to the third section, it is all about frameworks. Okay, in the frameworks, we will discuss what is framework. Basically, framework is a structure to make your test cases in a very proper manner. For example, I have 1,000 test cases, and my company asked me to run important test cases, critical test cases. So I should identify some test cases, right? And I have to run only those tests. How do I do that? I have to do Selenium cannot do that. So I have to use some framework to make that in an organized way. So for that, you need to have frameworks. In companies, when you go for any interview, they would ask you what framework you're working on. Please explain about that. So we are going to see unit test framework, page object model, data driven approach, BDD, Cucumber framework, behave we say, PyTest framework. Okay. All these frameworks we are going to see in Selenium. Okay. After your Selenium is done. So 4 frameworks we are going to see, and 2 projects, 2 end-to-end framework designing, how to design entire framework from scratch. We will try to see 2 projects. So how many we are seeing? 4 frameworks, 2 projects, Selenium concepts, Python programming, then Git Jenkins we will see. Okay, then we will see API testing. So manual API testing we will see, and also through automation how to do API testing also we will see. Then we will see agile methodology, manual testing. So we will see manual testing, agile methodology, API manual using Postman, API automation testing, Selenium, 4 frameworks, 2 projects, Python. All this together we call it as one course. Got it, right? We are discussing everything in one place. So along with that, I will give you sample resume. I'll give you 200 plus HR contacts to you. Important interview questions I'll give you. Okay. Then the course duration is around 40 to 45 working days. Okay. It again depends on how much soon we'll complete or how much time it takes. There is no constant time for it. Saturday, Sunday, no class. Doubts will be given. WhatsApp group will be created as soon as you have done the payment, and I'll share you materials, updates, doubts, everything in that group. Recorded videos will be provided to you by DURGASOFT team. You can claim 2 to 2.5 years experience after this course. Timings is 9 to 10, and you can reach to the DURGASOFT team. Okay, 2 to 2.5 years is what nominal anyone who trains should give. Okay, so if someone is saying that you can keep 5 years or 6 years experience, that's not true, because anyone trains you for a period of 2 months or 3 months hardly can give you 2 to 2.5 years, because after that you need to have some real-time exposure in IT in company. Otherwise, you cannot just by learning or by training, you cannot get that experience. Okay? That's what the reality is. Okay. So any doubts, anyone? Any questions in my syllabus? So we are going to see not only Selenium and Python, we are going to see API testing, manual testing, Jira, okay, PyTest frameworks, 2 projects, Selenium, Python, okay, all together in one course. Yeah. Now, anyone has any doubts? I would request you to do please your registration as soon as possible, so that I will have some uh, initiation of doing it soon.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, may I know like what is the current situation for this Python testing job market? Because as much I know, the people are telling compared to Java or .NET in development, in Python there is less job as compared to web development. So coming to testing, can you please clarify what is the job market for testing?
True. I want to be more open with you. Compared to testing, in testing, the job market is very much distributed, I could say, for Selenium with Java and Selenium with Python. I could say it is 60 is to 40%. 60 for Java and 40 for Python. So Python also has equal, because I don't want to exaggerate someone here. Okay. Python is much simpler and easy than Java compared to Java. You can learn easily, and you can able to code, and you can able to get job in Python easily compared to Java. That's one thing very fact. Java is tougher than Python, but it has good opportunities than Python. Okay. So if you can just go to Naukri is not my website, right? Just go to Naukri and type Selenium WebDriver, Python. You will find hundreds and hundreds and thousands of jobs with Selenium and Python. So by that you will understand there are so many openings in Selenium and Python. Okay, but to comparative to Java, it is little less, but you have almost equal number of opportunities. But as you are a tester and you want to start your career for testing, and your coding is not to the extent of that you can able to make it, so obviously people choose Python compared to Java. Got it, right? Yeah. Any doubts, anyone else? So please register as soon as possible so that we can start our class, okay, as soon as possible. Because this registration, this open free link will not be available from next probably by Monday. Okay, because we have to start a regular batch, not the this one. Okay. Free one. Okay. Yeah. No questions, anyone? No doubts, anyone? So that I can close the class. I hope everyone understood it detailedly. You don't need to worry about my level of teaching. I'll teach you very simple, layman kind of understanding. Every concept, even it is very tough code, I'll explain you in a very detailed and very basic way of understanding so that you can understand it easily. Python is much simpler than Java. You don't need to worry about it. You can easily learn coding. If you learn coding only, then you can survive in IT. To be very open and clear with you, okay? If you're a tester, especially, okay? If you're into something else, that's a different story. But if you're a tester, you cannot say that I can only do manual testing or I can do ETL testing. You know that the story is done. If you're an automation testing tester, either with Java or Python, only then you can sustain. There is no market in the future days for manual testing. No matter you are into API testing, DB testing, or ETL testing, whatever the testing different types of testing that you are doing in your company on a manual note will not work in for your future, because you have 20-25 years of your career in IT, right? So you should choose smartly. Got it right? Fine, guys. Thank you so much. I hope no one has any doubts. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me, else we'll close my class. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.